All right. Okay, well, thank you guys. So now that you have set SMART goals for you and your Avon business, let's just go ahead and take the next step and make those goals a reality. All right. So, Pat, I'm going to mute your mic because it's so loud there. All right, there we go. Feel free, though, to take yourself off of mute. Actually, um, I am unmuting. Can you mute on your end? All right. So what I was saying is now that you've set your SMART goals for you and your Avon business, we're going to go ahead and just talk about taking the next steps to make those goals a reality. And with a good plan, you will be sure, to just do the right stuff with the time that you dedicate to your Avon business. So this module is going to help you become organized, and there will be a lot of analyzing and a lot of internalizing, but good planning and time management, it allows you to accomplish more in a shorter period of time, which of course is going to lead to more free time, which lets you take advantage of learning opportunities. It's going to lower your stress, and it helps you focus, which leads to more success in your business. And each benefit of planning and time management just improves another aspect of your life. So hopefully that sounds good, right? So let's get started. I can get the slide to change here. So here is our agenda for tonight. The O in BOSS stands for outreach. We're going to talk about planning to grow your team, plan your Avon time, plan the right balance of activities, prioritize and gain control, and then plan to take action using a 2-week calendar. The module is all about the O in BOSS, like I said, outreach. And part of your plan will include your outreach. Number one, who do you need to know to achieve your goals, and what do you need to do to meet new people? And as you know, this business is a people business, so you need to plan your outreach. When we were talking, each of you shared similar things, and the one thing I heard often was that all of you said that you wanted to grow your team. So that was one of your goals. And for some of you, it was your main focus, growing your team. So today, let's begin by talking about how you can plan to grow your team. So we can grow our teams in 2 ways. We can recruit new representatives to join Avon, of course, right? And hopefully all of you have read about the latest incentive, the Share the Love. So what a great tool to use with those that you've been talking to in the past that might have been on the fence, and those people that you meet brand new right now. The incentive kicks off right now and all the way through August 6th, so make sure you take a look at that. But so you grow by recruiting new representatives, and you can help some of your current representatives, your downlines, achieve a leader title. So I know Patty being you having the smallest team, that it's sort of hard to look at your team with just 1 or 2 people and say, oh my gosh, how am I going to grow? But that 1 or 2 people that you have on your team, certainly a conversation with them about joining you in the leadership opportunity and getting their team started, that's going to grow your team as well. So when we say your team, we're not just talking about your first generation, we're talking about your second and your third generations. But let's start talking about, how can we find people to join Avon? So plan to connect, of course, with new people. So in order to find your next team members, you need to talk to the people you already know. We call those your warm market. And in addition, it's important to find opportunities to connect with new people. So remember, every interaction is an opportunity to grow your team. And we need to plan prospecting activities in order to ensure that we continue to make new connections. So what prospecting activities can you plan to make sure you continue to meet new people? As you can see on the screen, it's reflecting on your success. So if you've been doing things in the past that were working for you, maybe job fairs or events, or if you like to do business to business prospecting, maybe you like setting up tables out in front of a store, whatever has worked for you, repeat that. So repeat the things that are working, and then pursue your top customers. If they already have, that value with our Avon products, they're great people to talk to. So talk to your top customers, and then leverage your personal network. Oops, Ariel says she can't see the screen. Thank you for saying that. All right, can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, sometimes it freezes up and I never know. All right, thanks, Ariel. But pursue your top customers and leverage your personal network, your family, friends, people you know, and then get involved in your community, like the PTA when the kids go back to school, hospitals, maybe other organizations that you may have participated with in the past, or you have family and friends that are involved in the Kiwanis clubs and things like that. So get involved in your community and attend community events, job fairs, festivals, and things like that. For me personally, when in my old role as a district manager, I had more luck getting new representatives to join Avon at events. I was always searching for job fairs, community festivals, and bazaars. So community events really work for many people. And then I know a lot of you have done them in the past or might be thinking, but conducting fundraisers with schools, sports teams, any nonprofit, and even for-profit groups. Fundraisers not only will grow your sales and gain you new customers, but you will always likely find people that are actually conducting the fundraiser who are like, I could do this. This was fun. I think I would like to be a representative. And then even from the customer base from the fundraiser, that's another warm list for you to work. And then run regular Avon opportunity meetings to help people see the opportunity. So whether you do that in person or maybe you do it virtually, but doing opportunity meetings, inviting people to look over your information and give you the opportunity to answer their questions. It's just a really great way to connect with new people. So I want to put it out to the group, are there any other ideas that we didn't discuss here that have been working for you, or anything that maybe you have been thinking about doing? Nope. Okay, I think this really is a pretty comprehensive list. So I think that about covers everything that I can think of. All right, so I love this little grid and hopefully it's going to help you, but let's focus on our plan for identifying potential leaders on our teams. So first of all, let me talk about what motivation is. And we're talking about people on your team. So motivation with people on your team are people that believe in Avon. They already have that belief window. They want to grow a team. They're driven. They are coachable. They participate. So anytime you're doing like Facebook Live or you're doing little virtual meetings, maybe you do some face-to-face meetups, they're there. They participate. They have a positive attitude and they're helping others. So you want to look for people like that are motivated, those people on your team. And then also you want to look at their sales success. You want to look at the representatives who have been growing their sales and they consistently place orders. They pay for their orders on time and they have a good customer base and they always leverage the Avon tools. So these are the kind of people that are already on your team, but you just need to identify them right now. So on a piece of paper, you don't have to do it now, but it's going to be part of your application guide, your homework. You're going to draw this grid. And as you can see, the bottom left corner, it says low, low, and the arrow on the left points high for motivation, and then the arrow on the bottom going to the right on sales success. So you're going to just start writing, for those of you that have bigger teams, the names of everybody on your team. You know, are they not motivated and their sales are horrible? They're going to go in that bottom left corner. But if they are motivated, they have good sales, they're going to be on that top right corner where it says potential leaders. Anybody that falls into that box, if you haven't already, those are the people that you need to talk to, right? So is there anything else, any other characteristics that would make a good potential Avon leader? Is there any? And we can even think outside our team. So, you know, for anybody that we meet, whether they're a team member or somebody we meet brand new, are there any other characteristics you can think of that would make a good potential Avon leader?
Yes, this is Ariel.
Hi, Ariel.
Something I realize is their personality, their attitude, how they like carry themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Um, really like, and that's for someone who's not necessarily, that could be anyone. It could be either in your team or not, but you want that person because they've got their head on their shoulder. They get it.
Yep, I love that. Yeah, so yeah, I think, you know, I think that falls to like when the positive attitude, you know, that they have a belief in themselves, right? You know, they have the courage to start a business. And we have a saying that if somebody has the will, we can teach them the skills, right? So if they're willing to learn, we can probably teach them the skill. But if they don't have, you know, some people just don't have the personality to be a good salesperson, you know, and we might develop some of that, but if they cannot start believing in their abilities, then it's just going to take longer to get them there. I'm not saying it would never happen. It just might take a little longer. So we have to be more patient with people like that. But yeah, I love that. I think that you're spot on with that. So anything else, guys? All right. Okay, so now that we've determined how we can plan to grow our teams, let's go ahead and shift our focus on planning our time and activities. Avon time, of course, is the time you dedicate to your Avon business. And I know that we all juggle a lot of things. I mean, we have family time, social time, we have me time and Avon time. But the only way you can ensure that you achieve spending time with all of these things, all these people, yourself, and on your business is to plan. So you'll need to consider the time you need to achieve your goals and how much time you have available given your other responsibilities. So some of you work full time on your Avon business, some of you work part time, and you know, maybe you vary your Avon time week to week or month to month. So you know, I know that it's just the way you manage your business, and that's fine. And as part of the application activities this week, you're going to have to reflect on your goals and establish your Avon time. I shared with you a blank weekly planner, so hopefully you've been using that if you don't already use something, but hopefully that's going to help you during this planning process. What I have found in the last coaching classes is that this particular application guide, this homework, has been like the aha. They're like, aha, I thought I was doing more, or I really see that I have been wasting a lot of time. So I think when I kicked this off, I said, you know, you're going to do a lot of analyzing, a lot of internalizing. But this module will really help you move your business because it will get you focused on the right activities so that you can reach your goal. All right, so let's talk more about how we actually spend our Avon time, and it's important to get the most out of your dedicated Avon time. So now think about your current Avon time, the time you spend working on your Avon business, and look at these activities and examples under each. We've got planning, selling, managing, and leading. So let me put this out there. How much or what percentage of Avon time are you spending doing these things? So, I mean, you can just pick one of these: planning, selling, managing, leading. I mean, pick one of those categories and tell me how much the percentage of the time that you're putting in. If you're putting in 20 hours a week, what percentage of that 20 hours are you putting into any of these categories? I know it's a hard question. I can hear the wheels turning. All right, so I'll just tell you what the recommendation is, okay? We recommend that you spend 50 to 75% of your time on your personal business and 25 to 50% of your time leading your team. Now, for those of you with smaller teams, you're going to spend closer to 75% on your personal business and only about 25% on leading your team. But as your team grows and you have a larger team, you'll spend a higher percentage of your time leading your team. So hopefully that makes sense. But once you determine how you'll balance your time between your personal business and leading your team, you need to consider how much of your selling time you spend on selling products versus recruiting. But it's encouraged that you divide your selling time equally between selling the opportunity and selling products. So this is going to enable you to grow your team and your product sales, of course. Okay, so once you understand how you should balance your activities, it's important to actually plan what you're going to do. So you want to write down all of your planned activities. In order to prioritize them, reflect on your activities and break them down into tasks when it's possible. And because the more specific you are, the better it's going to be. Smaller tasks are more actionable and less intimidating, right? So for example, an activity might be to plan to participate in a local summer festival. Okay, so tasks related to that activity might be sending a confirmation to the event coordinator, getting any demos and products that you want for display and catalogs together for the festival, and it could even be as simple as planning what you're going to wear or how your table's going to look. Getting your things together, your tablecloths, those are all tasks for the bigger activity, right? So you have the activity, but then the smaller tasks related to that activity. So you can see on this list, the task list here, it talks about plan a fundraiser for my daughter's Girl Scout group, plan an your upcoming quarter, follow up on no orders, reorganize my files, plan my Avon opportunity meeting presentation for Tuesday's event, respond to Janet's complaint about her mascara, place my order, run a product training webinar for my new representatives, host team meeting concerning the downline duplication, return Jean's phone call JoJo to sell her some products from this brochure. So as you can see, I mean, this was a really big task list that she's going to go ahead and break up into the different categories. All right, you guys are quiet tonight. So in order to manage your time most effectively, it's important to prioritize your tasks and schedule them in your calendar. The image to the right of the slide is the framework that allows each of us to consider tasks based on importance and urgency. And again, this is part of your homework, so no fear, this is going to be given to you, and it's in the reference guide as well. Urgency is defined based on what is occurring right now within this campaign. Those are things that are urgent. And tasks that are beyond this campaign and have a longer runway, they are not urgent. And the importance is going to be measured based on what will grow your business and those tasks that are less important but essential to run or maintain your business. So tasks are bucketed into specific corners and in actions taken against each task. So as you can see, the bottom left is less important and not urgent, and these tasks should be delegated if possible. Like maybe a task where maybe you're doing a training with your downline on, say, Vibe, and maybe you have somebody on your team that is a computer geek, right? So maybe that representative, that leader on your team or that representative would be happy to take on that task for you. Or it could even be a family member. Maybe you have a family member that can help you stamp your books. So bottom left, less important, not urgent, would be those kind of things that you might delegate. The bottom right, less important and urgent, these are mainly administrative tasks that can be clustered or batched together and scheduled within the same time slot each week. A task here might be like responding to a customer complaint, things like that. So those smaller things that are less important, but they are, they are sort of urgent. If you can batch them together, it'll just save you some time. The top left is important and not urgent, and these tasks should be scheduled in the future. A task here might be like planning a team meeting focused on like maybe how to duplicate something on your team. They're less important. They're important, but not urgent. So important for you to do eventually, but it's not something that has to happen right now. It can happen beyond this campaign. And then the top right is important and urgent, and these tasks should be an area of focus. And a task here might be coaching a leader who is like title at risk. So let's just say you have somebody on your team who's also in the leadership program and they're not meeting their qualifiers in the last couple campaigns, and maybe they're in big trouble. So certainly that is urgent, and it's something that is going to affect you as well. So it's urgent, your focus needs to be on that. So certainly those are the things you put up in that top right corner. All right, and now looking at the to-do list on the left of the screen, I'm just going to ask, we're just going to go down here. So the first one, plan fundraiser, what box do you think that might fall in?
I'm thinking urgent.
So, okay, anybody else want to? Let me see. It looks like somebody's been chatting here. I can see the screen. Okay. Anybody else want to say that? Was that Kathy?
Yes.
Okay, Kathy. So Kathy says urgent. So you're saying top right.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say I would actually delegate it to someone who actually is very good at fundraising, because I'm not very good at fundraising. But I mean, I think it kind of depends on the leader and also how well they do in fundraising themselves too, and
Okay.
if it's important to them, like if they're actually supposed to do it or not.
Right. So I guess the plan the fundraiser is one of those that's like tricky to answer. So there could be a lot of things. Like it depends on the organization. Maybe somebody approached you and said, we're raising money to send our travel baseball team on a trip, and we have to have money in the next 2 weeks. So in that case, to Kathy's point, yeah, it would probably be important and urgent, so top right. But maybe you are planning a fundraiser, but you are just planning to do a fundraiser. You don't have any idea who it might be. You want to look for somebody. Your goal is to try to find somebody, maybe, after school goes back. So in that case, it would be not urgent and important. Delegating it, if you didn't feel comfortable with doing the fundraiser and you have somebody on your team that has been successful in the past, and certainly you can, if you've met somebody and they're like, yeah, we want to do a fundraiser, you can say, I'm really busy. I want to make sure you guys get the best service possible. But because I'm sort of short on time, I am going to delegate this to somebody on my team who is a great representative. She loves doing fundraisers, so she's going to take it from here. So I think it would fall into all of that. Those 3 boxes. It would not fall into the bottom right where you would cluster with other things. But like planning for the upcoming quarter, it's important, not urgent. Following up on no orders, what do you guys think about that?
That would definitely be urgent because something's obviously going on and you got to figure out what's going on. Why is it there's no orders?
Exactly. And, I think they were saying the things that are this, for this campaign, right? It says urgent for this campaign. So following up on no orders is certainly, it's urgent. How come you haven't put an order in? What's wrong? You know? And, you need the order, they need the order. You're trying to keep them engaged in their business. So yeah, definitely urgent because it's this campaign. So hopefully, just talking through some of these, like reorganizing my files. Yeah, I mean, it's important, but not really urgent. It could be the top left, or maybe, I know some representatives in the past have said that in this coaching program saying, my high school age daughter loves to help me in the office. I'm going to give her $20 if she'll help me reorganize my files, or I'll give her $50 if she'll spend the weekend, cleaning up my office. So delegate it if you can. Planning Avon opportunity meetings, it's important but not urgent. Responding to customer complaints, yeah, that's pretty urgent. You want to make sure that gets done. So as you're doing your own little grid, do make a list first and then start plugging it in where you think it needs to be. So again, just remember, that we want to bucket each of our tasks into specific corners, and then take the action against each task. All right. Let's see if I can get this to move again. This system, this GoToMeeting, I've been having a lot of technical issues with it. It's a little slow. All right, so let's consider some additional things that we can do to set ourselves up for success. So continue to focus on the more important and urgent tasks. And every so often, or when you see warning signs, take the opportunity to look at the tasks that you're completing each week. And ask yourself, can these be delegated? Can they be scheduled? Can I cluster these or batch them together? But setting appropriate expectations when you are out of your office is also going to help you. So I don't know if you even think about this, but what can we do to ensure that those we engage with feel that we're being responsive even if we're out of the office? So, and when I say out of the office, that means you're out of the office, you're delivering your customer orders, you're out prospecting, maybe you're on vacation, you're out of the office, spending time with your family. But you don't need to tell your downline every thing that you're doing and where you are every minute of the day. But what can you do to ensure that they feel that we're being responsive even when we're out of the office?
Shoot them a quick text or an email or something like that. Like if it's not really that urgent or something. My team, they normally, if it is urgent, they'll text me code red, and ultimately I know what I need to do. I need to drop what I'm doing and help them.
Great. Great.
Or like code yellow if it's important, but it's not like urgent. Kind of thing.
I love that. Like a traffic light. Yeah, yellow is caution,
Exactly.
red, stop. Yeah, but you can set your out of office email and voicemail. So let's just say you're on vacation and you might have warned your team. It's like, hey, I'm gonna be out of town on vacation this next week, and then set your, where if they do send you an email, they get that automated reply saying, hey, I'm on vacation, I'll return your email when I get back on, August 10th, so whatever it is. And same thing with your voicemail. You don't want to, if you are really out of the office, like on a family thing, you're on vacation or you're on business, you cannot be interrupted, go ahead and add something. You can change, you'll have a default voicemail on your phone, right? And you can do a temporary greeting, hey, I'm out of the office, I'm at RepFest until July 30th, I'll be back in my office on July 31st, please leave a message and I'll call you back then. So just so at least they know that you're responsive, that if they leave a message and they don't know you're out of town for a whole week and you don't call them back, they're going to think, she's ignoring me, or, what kind of upline and mentor is she? And she doesn't even return my phone call or my text messages. So, certainly just, and Ariel, I mean, you were spot on, just let them know if you're going to be out of the office for an extended period of time, then just let them know so that they know that you're gone, and you'll respond to them when you have your first opportunity. And when you are in the office, think about establishing leader hours. And leader hours provide like an open call line for your entire downline at set like specific times throughout the week. So for example, it could be like every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 11. Whatever you set up, maybe it's going to be, 9 to 11 on Tuesday and 7 to 9 on Thursday. So that way you accommodate, people that work during the day in order to have a time, one day a week. So as your team grows bigger and bigger, you will feel overwhelmed by the number of times, and sometimes our downline maybe they're just not thinking. I mean, and all of a sudden you're getting calls and texts and emails at 10, 11 o'clock at night. But if you set specific times and get them in the routine of calling you during your leader hours, it again will put more time on your calendar and take that stress off of you. So just think about that. So it will require an adjustment period for some, but soon your team's going to come to understand when you can be reached and the importance of being self-sufficient. And that's what we want them to be, right? We want to empower them to understand and learn about their own business. And then find a dedicated space. I'm really amazed how many representatives don't have a dedicated workspace to run their business. And again, if you have a smaller team, you're new in the leadership opportunity, it's not so big right now it's not as important, but as you grow your business and you have more paperwork, you have more things to do, you need a space. You need a space where you can put your stuff, put all your notes, have a dedicated spot for your computer, your laptop. And it just needs to be a place that's calming and quiet so that you can have time for sustained focus. And look, it could be the mom and pop coffee shop, that you go to escape the craziness at your house. I mean, I've been there, done that. I have my son and his family is living with me for the next couple of weeks while their house is being totally renovated. So I've had to kick my step granddaughter out of my office, which is her bedroom in the meantime. But this week I've found myself down at Panera doing some work just to escape some of the craziness. So, whatever works for you, whether it be the coffee shop or restaurant, even a hotel lobby. I don't know about renting a conference room, but you can get some free meeting space if you're a member at your library. A lot of libraries have really nice little private rooms if you need a private space and internet. So think about that as well if you ever need to get away from the house to have some good time to yourself. All right, so all of your planning comes together on your calendar, and this is going to be your roadmap for getting the right stuff done to achieve your goals. So here's an example of a 2-week calendar, and you can see that this leader marked her Avon time in purple and planned a balance of activities and tasks to achieve success. So she obviously works part-time and focuses on her Avon business in the middle of her days. Maybe, that's when her kids are out of the house. But once you complete your 2-week calendar, it's important to reflect and ask yourself these questions. Does my calendar reflect the right balance of activities and tasks to achieve short-term and long-term goals? Am I planning to be busy or productive? Can I delegate any of these tasks? Did I mark time for handling a cluster of tasks that are urgent but not important? And am I setting proper boundaries to be effective with my time? All right, so I'm going to show you this 4-page, don't get scared, it's not that bad, this 4-page application guide. And again, for some reason, whoever put this PDF didn't allow for editing for the leader name. So when you send it to me, don't worry. I'll make sure when I save it, I'll put your name on it. And And Patty, I know with you being a promoter, a lot of this is not going to make a lot of sense, but just do your best, fill in the areas that you can. But potential team members who might be interested in joining Avon, these would be people that you've met as you're out and about recruiting, or even through social media. So just jot down their information. What is their name? If you don't know their last name, that's okay. You could put Susan. Maybe you met Susan while you were shopping, and you found out that she is interested in she has only one child, and she wants to make some extra money in order to send her child to private school. Maybe that's her personal need. And she works. So let's just say, that her only time available is the weekends or after 5 o'clock, and then make any comments about her. So start jotting things down, and hopefully when you're out and about and you meet a lead, or when you're online, you save their information. Don't ever walk away from anybody without trying to find out some of this information and their follow-up. You want to make sure you get their phone number, have them join. Yep. Go on.
Can I give a little helpful tip of something that I do? And
Of course.
I told my I upline this, and she's like, you need to tell other people that. That's a great tip. And what it is like, if I was talking to somebody by chance or so, or while I'm out delivering orders or so, and I'm talking to that person, and I say, hey, would you like a brochure? And as I'm doing it, I have this little I'm asking for their contact information too, because I have a little stick a note and then hand them the pen. But I also have this little bag. It's this little cute drawstring bag that I put their contact information, and where I found where I met them, I jotted down that note and I put it in there, and then they're like, oh my God, that bag is so cute. And I was like, would you like one? And I said, and they all, they normally say yes, and I normally put some samples in them, and I hand it to them. But it's a little bag that's has drawstring, and you can kind of see through, but it's really, really pretty. It's a really cute bag that they can reuse. You know what I mean? And I think I paid $10 for 100 of them, but it's been working.
Yeah.
Because it holds the little samples in them and stuff like that. But it was a cool tip.
That I love that.
To be able to keep their information,
And I love that you're using Post-it notes on your book, and you hand it over to them, ask them to write their information on, and then you take that Post-it note and put it in the little bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I ultimately give them a sample, a sample pack in those little bags. But it keeps you to have that information, and then you could put it on this sheet. But it's a good way to have that, information.
And what I love about when representatives like yourself do things like this, these little special things, that person, number one, remembers you, and when you're able to convert them onto your team, they will do similar things. They learn from duplicating, so they love that you did that, and then guess what? They're going to do it as well. It worked with you and them, and they're going to transfer that over when they join your team too. So I love that. So thanks for sharing that. I love that little idea. And I've seen those bags. I've seen them in the craft area, at Michael's. I've seen them, but $10 for 100. Certainly buying them online, that's a much better price. So thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. All right, so now in this next section is team growth activities. What will you do to find new team members? So just jot down here the things that you're willing to do. Are you willing to do a fundraiser, in order to find new team members? Or maybe you're going to look for upcoming job fairs, because people are going to start planning those now for job fairs that are coming in the fall, right? So back to school, businesses are going to start thinking about hiring more people for the holidays. So maybe that's going to be one of the activities that you're going to put on this list. So whatever just think about the things that you're willing to do. And it could be something that we've not even talked about, something that'll just pop in your head saying, oh, I think I want to do that. Maybe you want to do a customer appreciation day. I always call it the Sue Mazza prospecting. And Sue's recently retired from Avon, but she totally built her business by doing customer appreciation days. And she would first did them by herself, but then as her team grew, she would take a downline member with her, and they would prospect like at a shopping center or at a medical complex or at a bank that had like multiple offices, where they have real estate office and things. They would go to these businesses and go office to office and introduce themselves saying, hey, we're the Avon, and today is our customer appreciation day, and we're giving out samples and brochures, free stuff. Can we leave stuff here for your staff? How many ladies do you have that work in your office? And here's our samples. Take a few samples. Here's a couple books, and by the way, here's a little form. If you'll fill it out, we'll put you in the drawing. And we're going to be giving away a basket at the end of the week. And of course, the little survey slip asks, if they're interested in earning additional income. And it's just as they're filling it out, giving you an opportunity to have a conversation with that person. Oh, do you like working here? How long have you worked here? And doing the conversation if you have the opportunity to have a conversation, if it's not terribly busy. But she built her business on that. So team growth activities could include doing a customer appreciation days, and every day of the week is customer appreciation day with Avon. So you don't have to do it just one time. You could do it a lot. You could do it weekly. You could do it once a campaign, once a month. That's up to you. And then potential leaders, looking at your current downline, what team members are good leader candidates, and think about that grid, where they're motivated and, they're growing their sales. So think about that. What their name is, what makes her a good candidate, and what's your next steps. Are you going to set up a virtual meeting with her? Are you going to meet with her face-to-face? And then plan your outreach, your Avon time. So reflect on your goals for the upcoming campaigns. How much time do you need to dedicate to your Avon business to meet your goals? So in the box on the right in the pink, it says my weekly Avon time commitment. So go ahead and plug in there what you are willing to commit. Is it 5 hours? Is it 20 hours? Is it 30 hours? Whatever your commitment is. And then you want to balance your activities. So you want to estimate the % of time you spend now on each type of activity that's listed on the table, and then reflect on your recent performance and your goals for the upcoming quarter. So plan the % of Avon time you'll spend on each type of activity in the future. So the first row where it says your time, that's what you're doing right now. And then think about what your results were and then tweak it for what you think you might be doing in the future. So, and I'm just going to use Ariel as an example. She's built a pretty good sized team quickly. So maybe up until now, she's only been spending, say, 25% of her time leading her team. Well, as her team is growing, that might go from 25 to maybe 40% of her time leading her team. So, you have to take it into consideration what you're going to do, that's going to impact your future results. Okay. Are you planning to spend 50 to 75% of your time on your personal business? Are you planning to spend 25 to 50% of your time working with your team? And are you spending equal amounts of time selling opportunities and selling products? And then the notes box, you can put any notes in there that are related to those 3 questions. All right. And then here is the box, the important, less important, not urgent, urgent. So that's there, but it's also in your reference guide if you need it as you're filling this out. But based on your planned balance of activities from that list above, write a list of activities you plan to accomplish in the next 2 weeks. So go ahead and just jot down on a piece of paper, what do you want to do? What are your activities in the next 2 weeks? And then break those down into small actionable tasks. Create your task list and then prioritize your tasks using the urgent versus the important grid. All right, so just plug them in there And look, don't get all hung up on, oh my gosh, I can't think of anything. You know, even if it's just a few things in each box, it's just going to help us with our one-on-one discussions. And these are things, you know, you can go ahead and type in your what task can you schedule for the future, what task can you delegate to whom. So if you type it in here, then you go ahead and then just plug it in the boxes up here. All right. And then your setup, how will you set yourself up for success in managing your time? How will you limit distractions to make the most of your Avon time? And then your call to action, it says execute your plan for the next 2 weeks. Be prepared to share results with me.